Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In today's deep dive, we're going to take you inside one of the most dramatic and precise drone strikes of the ongoing war in Ukraine. This is not just about drones. This is about innovation, intelligence, and sheer nerve. At exactly 2:43 a.m. on May 24, 2025, the skies over occupied Zaporizhzhia Oblast were torn apart as three Ukrainian kamikaze drones descended silently through the darkness. Their target? One of Russia's most vital logistics arteries, a fuel train carrying enough diesel to power two entire battalions for a week, but within 60 seconds, that fuel would become an inferno, not inside Russian tanks, but blazing in the middle of Ukrainian farmland. And it was all captured in stunning thermal and optical 4K. Let's break down how this meticulously coordinated operation unfolded, drone by drone, frame by frame. Running along the Verntokmak-Malichansk railway line, the Russian convoy consisted of 8 tanker cars, hauling over 560 tons of diesel fuel. The Russians thought this train was safe, protected by the distance, darkness, and the assumption that Ukrainian forces were too far or too uncoordinated to strike. They were wrong. For 72 hours before the attack, Ukrainian intelligence, with help from civilian partisans under occupation, tracked the train schedule, speed, and loading patterns. These were not trained soldiers, but ordinary citizens with smartphones who risked their lives to provide vital data. They identified a 15-minute window when the train would be farthest from Russian air defenses. That would be the moment to strike. The Ukrainian strike team operated 5 drones, 2 DJI Mavic 3 recon drones, 1 primary, 1 backup, flown from 30 kilometers away, providing live thermal reconnaissance. 3x FPV kamikaze drones, custom-built in Ukraine, each carrying a 2.66 kg shape charge warhead, designed for one-way attack missions. Let's start with the recon drones. These aren't your typical commercial DJI drones you buy on Amazon. The Ukrainian modified DJI Mavic 3 platforms were heavily enhanced in the field. The original Hasselblad L2D20C camera has a 20MP sensor with a hybrid zoom of up to 28x, but firmware tweaks reportedly push that digital zoom to 56x. In some units, Fluor-Boson thermal cores were added, allowing for night ops and thermal target detection. These drones flew at 68 km per hour, with a flight time of 46 minutes and could operate up to 6,000 meters above sea level, critical for remaining out of range from low-tier jamming devices. Next, the attack units. These quadcopters are fast, mean, and built to die. Each FPV drone featured 7-inch props on brushless 2,807 motors, a top dive speed of over 140 km per h, flight controller F7 with custom Bella Flight firmware hardened stabilization systems for high-impact strikes, 2.66 kg shape charge warheads. These warheads used a tungsten steel alloy liner with a 2-stage detonation system capable of penetrating up to 22 mm of hardened steel, easily enough to breach the 10 to 15 mm armor of a Russian fuel tanker. Upon detonation, the shaped charge creates a jet of metal plasma exceeding 30,000 feet per second and temperatures over 2,500 degrees Celsius, instantly igniting pressurized diesel inside the tanks. At 2:43 a.m., the first Mavic 3 recon drone arrived at altitude, silently locking onto thermal signatures in the cold terrain. The diesel locomotive's engines glowed like flares through the thermal lens, a clear visual confirmation. Using encrypted comms, the recon drone fed real-time coordinates to the 3 FPV operators, who sat huddled in a secure command bunker 30 kilometers away. Each pilot acknowledged the target with encrypted handshakes and locked their drones into attack mode. Then came the twist. 3 kilometers from the kill zone, a Russian Lear-3 electronic warfare system, mounted on a truck chassis, suddenly went active. It detected the signature of a commercial-style drone and instantly began jamming operations. The Lear-3 began with broadband jamming, sweeping across multiple frequencies. When that failed, it pivoted to spot jamming, targeting the common 2.4 GHz band used by many FPV drones. but Ukraine was ready. All 5 drones were equipped with frequency-hopping spread spectrum (FHSS) systems, switching frequencies hundreds of times per second across 3 bands. This made Russian jammers nearly useless. Additionally, all FPV drones had inertial navigation systems (INS), gyroscopes and accelerometers that calculate speed, heading, and position without relying on GPS. So when Russia attempted GPS spoofing, the drones ignored the fake data and switched to dead reckoning. The Mavic 3's onboard AI systems adapted in real time, switching frequencies, rerouting signals, and maintaining target tracking even as Russian jammers went into overdrive. At 2:44:30 a.m., the first FPV drone entered its final terminal dive. Locking onto the third tanker car, the drone used image recognition algorithms trained on Russian railcars to calculate an optimal impact point, all while traveling at over 100 km/h. Then, contact, the warhead detonated on the third car, vaporizing hundreds of gallons of diesel fuel in a fireball over 2,500 degrees Celsius. The blast destroyed structural reinforcements and ripped through the car's containment system, but the real killer wasn't just the blast. It was the chain reaction. The Russian train's tankers were interlinked by pressure equalizing systems, normally used for efficient fuel transfer. But now, they became tunnels of death. Within 15 seconds of the first blast, flames leapt into tankers 2 and 4, setting off secondary explosions. The train screeched to a halt as Russian engineers slammed emergency brakes. But stopping only made it easier for drones 2 and 3 to line up their shots. Segment 9, Total Annihilation, 15:30, at 2:45 a.m., 2 more FPV drones screamed in. The second drone struck Tanker 6, which had survived the initial blast, adding 69 more tons of burning diesel to the inferno. The third drone flanked from the west and slammed into the final tanker, Car 8, sending another towering fireball into the sky. In total, all 560 tons of diesel were consumed in a firestorm that created its own microweather. Flames shot over 200 meters high. Thermal convection columns sucked in air at ground level and launched a smoke plume visible from orbit. The railway was left unusable. Rails bent like spaghetti. Ties burned to ash. Shrapnel from the tanker cars littered the track for hundreds of meters. Russian repair crews would need weeks, possibly longer, to restore it, and even then, how could they know another strike wasn't waiting? Ukraine had achieved what many thought impossible, a coordinated deep strike using consumer-modified drones, stealth technology, and local civilian intel, all for the cost of a few $1,000s, the strategic value of that 560 tons of fuel. Millions, the footage? Absolutely priceless. And the best part? Every moment was caught on camera. 4K thermal and optical proof of how modern warfare is being redefined, not by trillion-dollar jets, but by brave civilians, custom drones, and unmatched tactical ingenuity. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more breakdowns of the most advanced tactics in modern combat. We'll see you in the next mission debrief. Until then, stay safe. And stay sharp.